Well, thank you for watching our Los Sendas board candidate interviews. I'm Josh Croning. I'm a resident of Los Sendas, and I've lived here since 2019. I currently serve on the Safety and Security Committee, and with me today is Mr. Matthew Lapine, and we're just going to ask him some questions and get to know him a little bit because he is a candidate for our board. So, are you ready?
Sure, let's get going.
Okay. So, Matthew, where did you grow up?
Oh, I grew up in Vermont, way back east, and have moved to the West Coast in '93, and then moved to Los Sendas in 2021.
Okay, wow. So you've spent a lot of time on the East Coast, and now you're kind of out west. I haven't been to Vermont. I've been around the country quite a bit. That's one state I haven't been to. What did you like about growing up in Vermont?
Vermont is a very quiet and not too crowded and environmentally aware, you could say green. And these days, that has certain aspects that some people don't care for, but I do care for being a good steward of the environment, and actually that's one of the attractions I find in Los Sendas. We're right in the middle of the desert uplands, and we're right next to the Tonto National Forest, and I love going out for hikes in the Tonto and communing with the forest of saguaros that we have out there.
A great answer. I just went for a hike this morning and I was looking around, admiring the landscaping in Los Sendas because, the community's been here for over 20 years and it just kind of looks like it grew up out of the desert. We have mostly native plants and I think the animals appreciate that too. So I really appreciate it. The next question you kind of already went over, but what initially drew you to Los Sendas?
Well, we had a place in town in, what do they call it now? Arcadia Light,
okay.
Or Lower Arcadia.
Yeah.
And it was a great place, mid-century modern, beautiful home. But being in town, noisy, traffic, lots of issues that are downstream from that. So we set up we want a really nice home with great amenities that's close to nature, where we've got a little bit of space, where there's some safety and security in place with, gates and so forth. And we looked all over the valley, the whole valley, west out to Wickenburg and north up past Carefree and Cave Creek. And nothing in the valley compares to what we get in Los Sendas in terms of all those attributes, the quality and the closeness to nature and the safety, as well as the amenities, this huge list of amenities we have, and at a very reasonable cost in terms of our assessment.
I would agree with you 100%. First, official candidate board interview question. Why do you want to serve on the Los Sendas board?
Sure. Well, as I've been on the landscape committee for some time and on the finance committee as well for some time, I feel like I've made a difference. We've improved the enclave entrances. We work to ensure timely and quality maintenance outcomes from our service provider. We set up policies at the board's request for trails, for culverts, for erosion along sidewalks, for fire mitigation, and more. So I think I've had a role in making things better for everyone in Los Sendas, but that role is to make recommendations, right? We are advisory. We suggest and we recommend. As a board member, you discuss and listen and you decide. So I'd like to think I can have more direct voice in what we do and where we go as a community.
Okay, cool. I think I've seen some of your projects around the neighborhood. I walk my dogs every morning and the I don't know, they're 3 or 4 inch white stones you put along the sidewalks in those erosion areas. I've noticed that, and it seems to be effective.
Indeed,
Um,
yeah, we're working on Saddleback and Mountain Ridge this year, and there's a bunch of work that is being scheduled right now to complete those 2 streets. But it's a long-term effort. We'll be doing sidewalk erosion for several more years.
it's a big neighborhood. There's a
Yes.
lot of lineal feet of sidewalk here. All right, next question. How would your background and skills allow you to best support the community through your service on the board?
Well, I have a long history of service to the community. Before Los Sendas, I've been on public boards, a cable board, the Parks Commission for the city just outside of Seattle that I lived in for several years. I've been on other HOA boards in the past. I enjoy doing what I can to make things better, smooth the path for improvement. Here in Los Sendas, I've been on the Finance Committee, I've been on the Landscape Committee. We've got a long-term strategic plan for landscape that the board has adopted and which sets out priorities and plans for literally decades to come. So I love digging into problems, kind of collaborating with my teammates to find creative solutions.
That's important. Thank you. And thank you for what you do. I've seen your work around the neighborhood. Thank you. Question 3. Serving on the board means balancing competing priorities and working through disagreements. Can you share an example from your past experience where you helped navigate differing opinions to reach a solution?
Well, being on 2 committees, I can't speak to what the Safety and Security Committee is like,
Sure.
But the Finance and Landscape Committees are very lively forums,
Hot topics. Yeah.
full of people who are very passionate about our community. So we work hard to build consensus and get everyone on board before we make a decision. We can't always do that. Recently, we finalized the culverts plan, right? We're looking at, there's 330 culverts scattered all over the place through Los Sendas. Oh yeah, it's a huge number. And 24, 25 of them are what we call repeat offenders. Every year, we got to clean those guys out. So the board asked, gosh, isn't there something we can do so we don't have to be paying tens of thousands of dollars to clean these things every single year? Well, there is. We look at what's upslope, we look at what's downslope, and figure out what we have to do in terms of regrading, putting in riprap so the water can flow smoothly and the culverts don't get plugged up. Came up with a plan for that, but then there's a dilemma. Do we do the ones that are the highest risk, or do we do the ones that will be the cheapest to fix and will have the quickest payback for our funds spent? So we looked into that in more depth and realized, well, the ones that make the most financial sense are also the smallest ones, and therefore the ones that our own maintenance staff might be able to address rather than hiring a contractor. So through Crystal, I asked if the maintenance staff could look at them, and they said, yes, in fact, they can. So we're hoping, this is in progress as we speak, we're hoping that all those smaller ones are going to be addressed by the end of this year. So I'm pretty excited about that. In parallel, we made a budget request for 2026 to go after some of the big ones, right? That we absolutely have to get contractors in to help us with. And we'll see what the board decides on the budget, but hopefully they'll allocate some. And we've got a list of exactly which culverts and what needs to be done to them should they provide us some funding.
Okay. It's a lot of culverts, but it's a big neighborhood. All right. Question 4. Residents expect the board to make decisions that are in the best interest of the community. Residents also want more transparency, which means the board will need to have discussions in open sessions where some residents may disagree with the board's decision. How would you navigate a situation where the board believes a decision is in the best interest of the community, but some residents strongly disagree?
Well, this reminds me, we had a gentleman attending landscape committee meetings regularly for a time, and he was really passionate, as many people are about landscape, about getting the public streets to look like they looked when Blandford first built the community, lush and green and full of flowering bushes and plants. But there's a problem. The irrigation along all the main roads was abandoned several years ago. So first, we need to replace the irrigation systems, but the costs are prohibitive. We're talking over $1 million to replace the irrigation system. And last I checked, there's no money in the capital improvement fund. And we have other areas that we're focusing on, namely the reserve. So this has to wait. So I ended up speaking with this person individually and on the phone a number of times to understand, where are you coming from? What is driving this? Well, he just wants it to be beautiful, right? Yep. And in going over what he's looking for and going over our realities of, we just don't have the money, not now anyway. Maybe in a few years, sure. And we can get started and do it in phases and pieces, right? A little bit along Eagle Crest, a little bit on Ridge Crest, and so on. And eventually work our way around the big loop and then the inner roads and so forth. So I think he came to appreciate the challenges we faced and the hurdles we needed to overcome. But more importantly, I think we found through our conversations, we have the same goal. We just want our community to be as beautiful as it can be.
Yeah, good answer. Thank you. Last question. What goals should the association focus on over the next few years, and how would you help advance them? So
we have a number of challenges, if you will, at Los Sendas that we need to be focusing on. To me, the first and most important thing is to get the reserve fund back in shape. The reserve fund a couple of years ago, we had dipped down to about 40% of fully funded, which is a dangerously low level to be. The board set a goal of getting us up to 70% funded. The delta there is like $12 million. Okay. Yeah. We can contribute a couple, maybe 3 million to that each year. So it's going to take quite some time. You know, there's a risk where we're at that we could end up in a situation where we have to have a special assessment to cover some big unexpected expense, right? And nobody wants to do that, but it could happen. Thankfully, it hasn't happened. But getting that reserve up to a safe level is something we have to keep our collective eyes as a community on and ensure that we get it built up so that we don't have that risk of special assessment and we have a solid financial footing. The reserve pays for, renewal and of the hardscape and the walls and the fences and crack filler and repaving streets and painting and all kinds of things, new pumps when they wear out at the pools and just there's thousands of things on the reserve fund list. So it's important there's enough money in the piggy bank to take care of those at the time that they need to be done. So that's the first and most important thing. Next, there's what I call the conundrums in Los Sendas, things that we just haven't been able to solve. Speeding drivers, right, is constantly coming up, right?
Yep.
Pedestrian safety, which kind of goes hand in hand, right? I'm a walker, so I'm always leery when I try to cross Eagle Crest down at the intersection of Red Mountain.
Yeah.
It's challenging. Um, Fire mitigation, right? A lot of people, we made a major push in 24 to get through 27 enclaves in fire mitigation.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we didn't hire the best vendor we could have, and we ended up with a lot of incomplete work, and now that needs to be straightened out. Electric dirt bikes, right? Who hasn't seen these kids popping wheelies right in the middle of the road going 35, 40 miles an hour?
Yeah.
So these are the conundrums. You know, now the current board has worked to address each of these.
Sure.
And we all just got a survey, right? What do you think about speeding and pedestrian safety? And hopefully everybody's filling that survey out. And I think you have just a few more days to do so. But the communications like that, the conversations and the actions we need to continue, these as a board priority, to drive these forward and find some sort of resolution on each of them. And finally, we have a growing list of capital improvement fund projects that we need to find funding for and schedule and do. Thankfully, again, the reserve covers maintenance and renewal for a lot of our infrastructure, but these projects are not. Some of these projects are, as I mentioned, the irrigation along all the main roads. That all needs to be redone. And then once that irrigation's installed, replanting in all of those areas where now we have irrigation, so the plants will grow and flower and look beautiful, and it will look like it did back when Blandford first built it up. Replanting of saguaros with Mexican giants, replanting of other trees to keep our community beautiful, have shade, right? It's a great thing to have. Updating the trailhead facilities. Security gates, as you well know, for gray fox.
Gates. Yeah.
Right? If I remember, it's about a $300,000 project. And of course, as time goes, it's just getting more and more and more expensive because inflation. Expansion of our pickleball facilities, right? We have 6 pickleball courts, but the pickleball playing population of around 1,500 people deserves to have more than twice that many courts. So we got to figure out how that's going to happen and where that's going to happen. So all of these, we need to find a way to fund, prioritize, and I hope we can work with the community and find a way forward for each of them.
All right. Well, Matthew Lapine, we're a little bit over time, but you had great answers, and I really appreciate you joining us today.
Oh, it was my pleasure. Appreciate having the opportunity to provide info for folks to learn a little bit more and see who they like.
Of course. Well, thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, you too.